The Biden candidacy is effectively over as big tech censorship of Hunter Biden's bombshell emails backfires big time. In this video, we're going to take a look at the latest revelation regarding the Biden's propensity towards, shall we say, influence peddling, how big tech and the mainstream media are doing everything they possibly can to try to keep this information from voters, and how such cover-up efforts are backfiring big time against both the media and the Biden campaign. You are not going to want to miss this. Welcome, everyone. Dr. Steve here, ready to bring you our latest episode celebrating the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. So if you haven't already done so, you know what to do. Make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel that focuses on optimism and encouragement in the midst of all the defeatist fake news spewed out by the mainstream media. Before we get into things here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video, and that's the makers of this awesome motion detector ultra bright solar nightlight. You can install it anywhere because it's wireless, and you never need to worry about buying batteries because it's solar powered with a high powered battery storage pack. It's equipped with motion detectors, and it becomes an entertainment light for the patio and the barbecue with just the simple click of a button. And those motion detectors, well, they offer effective deterrence against burglars. And best of all, you know, you don't have to spend a fortune for any of it. If you click on that link below right now, you're going to get 52% off as well as free shipping to boot. So what could possibly be better? Don't wait. Click on that link below or visit nightsolarlight.com and bring its light to the dark spaces in your home today. All right, guys, so let's dive right in here. Wow, oh wow, what do we say to that? What a difference 24 hours can make in politics, huh? Now, I'm sure most of you know by now, the New York Post broke the story yesterday that according to emails obtained by the Post, Hunter Biden introduced his father, who was then vice president, to a top executive at Burisma, the Ukrainian energy firm where Hunter served on the board. And that meeting took place less than a year before Joe Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion in aid from Ukraine until their government fired a special prosecutor investigating Burisma. Now, these are emails that were obtained from a MacBook Pro laptop that had been dropped off at a Delaware computer shop back in April of 2019, but never picked up. And as the owner of the shop was scouring the hard drive, he found all these emails showing that Joe Biden was indeed scheduled to meet with a Burisma executive months before he intervened and demanded that a prosecutor investigating Burisma be fired. We, of course, have Joe Biden on video boasting on how he threatened to withhold $1 billion in aid until this prosecutor investigating his son's company, which was a corrupt natural gas company, was fired. Now, the reason why this email revelation that Biden did, in fact, have a meeting scheduled with an executive of the company, a meeting facilitated by Hunter Biden, the reason why this is such a bombshell revelation is because Biden defended his demand that no money would be given until the prosecutor was fired, which is a blatant quid pro quo, the use of government power and money for personal favor. The reason why this was not a conflict of interest, according to Biden, was because Biden claims he never spoke to his son about his overseas business deals. He claimed that he and Hunter never spoke about Hunter's business dealings. But then, in October of last year on Tucker Carlson's show, he revealed a newly unearthed photo that shows former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter sharing a round of golf, but they're standing with a very interesting fellow. And this fellow that they're taking their picture with is a man by the name of Devon Archer. Now, Devon Archer is important here because he sat on the board of the Ukrainian energy firm Burisma Holdings alongside Hunter. The photos reported to have been taken at a New York golf club back in 2014. Again, that's important because both Hunter Biden and Archer joined Burisma Holdings, the Ukrainian energy firm, as board members of April of that year, 2014. So this, of course, seemed to blatantly contradict Biden's insistence that he never spoke with his son about his business dealings, except, of course, when they're playing rounds of golf. You silly. I didn't deny that part. Now, we have these new emails that have surfaced obtained by the New York Post that show that Hunter did indeed facilitate a meeting between his father and Burisma executives. And not only that, we now have evidence that Hunter Biden had pursued lucrative deals involving China's largest private energy company that he said in an email was interesting for me and my family. In a second massive bombshell, we're now learning that Hunter Biden secured $1.5 billion from China for a private equity fund, which he was forming at the time. And this happened when he went to China with his father back in 2013 on an official government trip to China. As Tucker Carlson put it the other night, influence peddling seems to be a recurring pattern among the Bidens, a pattern that, when investigated, becomes more and more apparent. Now, this, of course, is a bombshell in and of itself. If this is true, if this story unravels and snowballs out of the Democrats' control, Biden is done. This election is effectively over, and the corrupt, compromised media seems to know that, which is why the major networks are either dismissing the story, like the Washington Post, the ever-reliable shill for all things left-wing, the Guardian of the swamp, who quickly dismissed the emails as a desperate attempt by the Trump administration of turning this election around. The irony, of course, in that is this sudden embrace of skepticism by the Washington Post was not lost on the Washington Journal. Collusion theory promoters, I love it, Russian collusion theory promoters suddenly attack new Biden story, right? They're the very people who were pushing the Russian collusion hoax for 3 freaking years. Now they're the first ones to completely dismiss this story of real collusion, real quid pro quo, real cover-up. But suddenly that doesn't matter. All that's suddenly worthy of being debunked and dismissed. Isn't that convenient? But that was nothing in comparison to what we saw from the big tech giants Facebook and Twitter, both of whom actively and deliberately censored the bombshell story from their platforms. But first, I want to personally invite you to our special On the Brink Benefit Conference. It's an online conference featuring me and some guest speakers on Saturday, October 31st. The virtual conference is going to help you to think better and therefore feel better about the November 3rd election and beyond. We'll discover what's really behind the rise of a new conservative age, how nationalism and globalism will continue to face off and clash well beyond November, and why nationalist populism is absolutely unstoppable in its battle with liberal left-wing globalism. To make it even better, proceeds are going to benefit Blessings of Hope Food Bank in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, which was highlighted by Ivanka Trump in her latest initiative to connect low-income families with America's food suppliers. And for a limited time, we have a special early bird registration discount. So don't wait. Make sure to register today for the On the Brink Benefit Virtual Conference. And I look forward to meeting all of you virtually in just a couple of weeks. All right, so big tech and the guys of Facebook and Twitter have actively suppressed the New York Post's bombshell story. And again, I think we have to ask, have they gone back and publicly labeled every single story on Russian collusion from the past 3 years fake news? Has Facebook and Twitter gone back and censored CNN and MSNBC for their blatant peddling of a fabricated hoax? Of course freaking not. We wouldn't have a swamp if they did that. And by the way, the mainstream Marxist media is all for this. They love censorship when it's done on their terms. That's why you see these ridiculous headlines from NPR. Look at this. Facebook and Twitter limit sharing New York Post story about Joe Biden. Did you catch that? Blatant censorship is now termed by our elite mainstream media as limited sharing. Well, this limited sharing apparently includes locking the White House press secretary, Kayleigh McEnany, out of her Twitter account for sharing the Post's bombshell revelations. A New York Post editor said it best. This is a big tech information coup. This is digital civil war. I, an editor at the New York Post, one of the nation's largest papers by circulation, can't post one of our own stories that details corruption by a major party presidential candidate, Biden. Well said. This is blatant election tampering and censorship on the part of big tech, all to the cheerleading adulation of the mainstream Marxist media. But unfortunately for Biden and his cheerleaders in the corrupt media, such efforts are indeed backfiring. This story is beginning to unravel for Biden, as much as the Biden campaign thought they could rely on the cover provided by the mainstream media and big tech. Well, now even Politico is running a story with a rather benign headline, Biden campaign lashes out at New York Post. But then when you read the article, there is a glaring admission by the Biden campaign, according to Politico, quote, Biden's campaign would not rule out the possibility that the former VP had some kind of informal interaction with Pozarski, a Burisma executive, which wouldn't appear on Biden's official schedule, but they said any encounter would have been cursory. Pozarski did not respond to a request for comment. More than that, a number of media outlets are coming out and excoriating big tech for blatantly censoring the New York Post piece, and they're openly saying that such tactics are only going to backfire big time on big tech. And make no mistake, I think they're only partially right on that, and that's because I think the backfire has already begun. That's why we're here, we in the alt media, to backfire, to bring you the details of a story that the compromised and corrupt corporate media is doing everything they possibly can to sequester and bury, which of course makes the story all the more salacious. And it's not going away. Rudy Giuliani is already out there saying there's more to come. We ain't seen nothing yet. The story of Biden's influence peddling has just begun. This is going to be something none of us are going to want to miss. Now, before you go, make sure to like this video, comment down below, and subscribe to my channel. And you will definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded. You're going to love this one. It's on how George Soros is getting banned from more and more countries. We're winning, gang. You're going to love this one. So make sure to click on this link, and I will see you over there. God bless.